Good evening, everyone. This is Street Oracle coming to you. Decided to do an impromptu live tonight due to something that I've been hearing a lot lately from people who know me, who interact with me, who speak with me about love. They're constantly asking me, how is it that I'm able to say that I love people so freely? Why is it that I don't have an issue in regard to speaking on love or sharing love or talking about love? And it's because, to me, love holds a very special meaning. To me, and this has come through a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of time of personal reflection. Love is life. And in taking time to see if there's anything that can substantiate that belief that I have, I ended up coming across some scriptures that I've known for the longest time. As some of you know, I spent a lot of my life in church. I grew up in church. I took a pause from church once I entered into adulthood. And then after being out of church for a few years, I ended up getting back into church, to which I then started to grow in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Scripture and being a part of ministry. As time went on, I did find that I was kind of hitting a ceiling. I was hitting a plateau where no matter how much I read or worked on myself or, went to church, it was almost like a wall, if you will. And I took time away from church. And in that time, I found out the reason why I hit that wall was because I had spent my life living behind masks of basically work, home, and church. So as I started to work on my spirituality, I came to understand that church had its place and position in my life, and that was to help me to, one, heal from some of the church hurt that I had, but not only that, for me to gain understanding as to how the scriptures can be rightfully applied and used in my spiritual journey. So I am a spiritualist, but I have no problem using biblical teachings and verses and principles because they do play a major part in spiritual growth. I am in the process of starting a ministry, a spiritualist ministry, that will incorporate biblical verses and teachings. It's not to try and convert anyone to Christianity. It is understanding that spirituality, that spiritualism, has its place. And the purpose of a spiritual journey is to help you to become more connected to the divine consciousness. Doesn't matter what name is being used, what name you feel comfortable with. It's all about developing your individual spiritual journey and establishing yourself along that spiritual journey so that you can be one with divine consciousness. My motto is, where faith and love are your greatest tools. Because faith and love are the two main tools that are needed to accomplish growth and development in your spiritual journey. Hello, unapologetically. I just got on, so I haven't really gotten into it yet. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about love. Love is a topic that a lot of people hold subjectively. That a lot of people manipulate their perspective of love, and I'm going to share with you some scriptures. And like I said, love is life, and in understanding that love is life, you can't really say that you love someone. That's whether it's a brotherly love, whether it's And when I say brotherly, I mean like brother, sister, friend, love, intimate love, non-sexual, not sexual, but intimate as in closeness. Relationship love, intimate as in this is your lover, your partner. Love as in working with family, business, just anything in life. Love is very important in all aspects of life because, as I've said before and I've told people many times offline, love is life. Without love, there is no growth. Without love, there is no nurturing. There is no development. There is no prosperity. There is no goodness. There is nothing that will help to establish that environment of life that is love. So hopefully everybody is ready. I'm not going to be before you long. That was probably the first mistake that I made in saying that, but I don't plan to be before you long. So like I said, I asked people to bring their Bibles because I want those who are here to not only hear, but I want them to read themselves about what is shared when it comes down to love and examine their own lives. Don't spend so much time looking to see who loves you, but look to see how much you love yourself. There's a lot of debate on keeping with the commandments and everything else. And I've shared a number of times how, Jesus was speaking to the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the scribes, the scholars, the wise men. And, he asked them, do you know the commandments? And they say, yes, we know the commandments. We know the commandments well. And so they started to rattle off the commandments to him. And he said, okay, that's good. You know the commandments. All of the commandments can be summed up in these two things. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the second commandment, which is just as great, is love thy neighbor as thyself. You can't say that you have love when the way that you treat others is a way that you would not treat yourself. It's a way that you would not allow someone to treat you. So tonight I'm just going to share some scriptures on love. Hopefully they will enlighten us all, help us to have a better understanding of how love can be applied in our lives to ourselves, and also how we can look for love to be exercised in others and toward others, as well as from them to us. So we're going to start with 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And I love this chapter because this chapter basically lets everyone know what the template is when it comes down to love. It lets people know what they should look for, what they should see, what they should... Yes, I am going to save this. And hello, Creole Story. I'm glad that you're here. This is a chapter that really helps in knowing, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And I'm going to read verses 1 through 8 and then jump down to the 13th verse. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, and at this time charity is the term that's now known today as love, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Those first three verses help to show how without love, it doesn't matter what you call yourself doing. It doesn't matter how much you say that you're helping someone. It doesn't matter how much you say that you are giving, how much you say that you're in ministry, how much you say that you're in whatever spiritual practice. It doesn't matter how you say that you perform charitable works and do great deeds and everything else. If you don't have any love, all of that means nothing. It means nothing, because without love, everything that you're doing is just a matter of show. It's a matter of ego. It's a matter of self-glorification, because nobody else is profiting from it. Some people say, well, sometimes you have to show things so that way you can be able to. Yes, there is a way that you can do charitable works and show for others to see, but the intent of the heart is what matters. If you're doing it because you just want to make a name for yourself, you don't love. You don't love. If you're doing it because you're trying to one up on someone else, that's not love. Love is doing all things, being able to give to others, being able to minister to others, being able to fellowship with others, being able to even see differences with others, and without disrespect, still acknowledge and respect them and their being. Let's continue. Charity suffers long and is kind. Charity envies not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. That means charity doesn't have ego. A lot of people will stand up there and say, oh, I love this. I love this person. And this is how much I love this person. And if it wasn't for me showing it, that's not love. That's ego. That's not love. That's you trying to make yourself seem as though you are the savior of someone else. Does not behave itself unseemly, seeks not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth. Love doesn't look for other people to be hurt. Love doesn't look for people to fail. Love doesn't look for people to fall. Love doesn't look for people to, experience any type of calamity. This goes in and out the church. This goes through all spiritual practices. It doesn't matter what spiritual system anybody practices. If they're running around talking about how they look forward to people falling, they look forward to people failing, they're looking forward to people's destruction, they have no love in their heart, and you should not be dealing with them. Loyalty feeds jealousy, and sometimes you can put yourself in a place where you're trying to show love to someone, or you feel that you have to be there to express your love or exhibit your love, and the only thing that you're doing is allowing your loyalty to feed their jealousy, their insecurity, their destruction. That's going to come toward you. You have to know how to love while at the same time step back. You have to know how to love and at the same time walk away. Even when it hurts, understand that love does not mean that you kill yourself in hopes of trying to make someone who does not love you try to love you. Because again, love is life. Love is not chaos. Love is not destruction. Love is not unruly. Love is not unseemly. Love is life. Bearing all things, believeth all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Charity never faileth. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. And all of this is because love does not abound. The last church that I was in, there was a lot of love. There was a lot of genuine love, which is why I said that I was able to heal some of the church hurt that I experienced in my life through that ministry that I was in, because the message was about love. It was about love and transparency, so much so that when he would learn that, he had something wrong, that he may have preached before, that he may have taught before, he would come back and he would correct himself openly. Let it be known. That's what love does. Love corrects. Whether you're correcting yourself, whether you're allowing someone to correct you. Now, if you're allowing someone to correct you, you do have the right to examine if they're coming to you out of love or if they're coming to you out of condemnation. Because some people do that. There is such a thing as tough love, but tough love is the type of love where it hurts to have to apply discipline, but it's not going to be disrespectful. Tough love is not disrespectful. It's not unseemly. It's not reckless. So when someone says that they have to show or give tough love, question what type of love are they giving, if they are giving love. Because some people believe that they have to tear you down. And that's their way of showing love, and that's not love. Jumping down to 13, it says, now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity. The greatest of these is love. Faith is important to have. And I will, sometime within the next week or two, discuss faith and the importance of faith. Like I said, the ministry that I'm starting, the slogan is where faith and love are your greatest tools. If you don't have faith, then there's no need for you to expect anything to change. If you do not have faith, there's no need for you, and no matter what spiritual system you're a part of, to believe that anything is going to happen on your behalf. Because without faith, nothing is going to happen. But without love, don't even look for anything to happen. If there's no love, don't even look for whatever faith you say you have to manifest anything. Because when you have faith, that means you love what you believe in. That's it. I have faith this relationship is going to work. Why? Because I love this person. I have faith that my business is going to take off. Why? Because I love this job. I love my business. I love what I do. I have faith that my house is going to be well furnished and lavish. Why? Because I love my house. I love living here. That's what love is. That's how powerful love is. Love is so powerful that even if you say you have faith, it's still not going to come to pass. The next verse that I want to use, say that again. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people need to hear certain things, because I'll say this from the aspect of the church and the spiritualist community, mainly ATR. There's so much conflict between the two on pointing the finger on who's right, who's wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. You're evil. You're always looking to condemn people, and you're doing witchcraft, and there's only one true and living God. That a lot of there are so many similarities between the both. Especially the bad, the negative, that it's like you're pointing a finger, but it's almost like they're staring in a mirror. While they're pointing at each other, they're basically pointing at themselves, because both sides are guilty of the same exact thing. Both sides are guilty of judgment. Both sides are guilty of condemnation. Both sides are guilty of hypocrisy. Both sides are guilty of lying. Both sides are guilty of having so many different factors of truth and understanding. Both sides are guilty of having so many different breakdowns and divisions and denominations and sects and cliques and factions. Both sides are so guilty of so many of these things, but to then turn around and try and call someone out. Who are you helping in that process? Who are you saving? Who are you delivering? Who are you healing? A lot of those things are not happening because there's no love. It's all ego. So, yeah, these things do need to be said. The second verse, or the second passage that I have in this list, again, Street Oracle here, just coming tonight with some scriptures on love, asking people to take time to go over these scriptures that are being read so that way they can understand love from an objective standpoint, in a way on how they could apply love in their lives. How to examine themselves. And when I say examine yourself, I don't mean examine yourself as in a form of judgment. I mean examine yourself in seeing how you have applied love in your own life. How you've allowed people to come into your life who say that they love you, and how have they exercised their love in your life? Did they exercise love in your life? The first scripture that I went over, the first passage of scripture was 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 8, and then jump down to verse 13. The second verse, the second passage right now that I'm about to do is 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. I have 3 other passages after this, but this one might take the cake on everything. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. This I use as my indicator on those who claim to be of the Spirit. Again, whether they're in the church, whether they are in spiritualist practices. I have this one verse as a marker to understand where they're coming from, or where they stand in what it is they say that they believe. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 says, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That one verse, I take that to heart. I take it to heart because how can I say that I want to be able to be successful in life? How can I say that I want to be successful in my spiritual journey if I'm constantly walking in fear? And how can I be walking in fear and yet still expect miracles and blessings and opportunities and favor and all of those things that I sit down and I pray and I walk through my day-to-day looking for things to happen, but I have fear abiding in me? It says that we're not supposed to have fear. We're supposed to have power, love, and a sound mind. The spirit of fear is not supposed to be there. I believe the next verse that I'm going to read is going to sum up the reason as to why fear should not be in our lives. And when you love, there shouldn't be fear, so that you should be able to operate confidently and declare boldly through word and action where you stand in the situation, where you stand with this person. Love will not cause you to be fearless, like be reckless, because some people associate being fearless with being reckless. Being fearless does not mean reckless. Being fearless, especially in love, means that you know when to say no to something. You know when to say this isn't working. You know when to say I don't think that's a good idea. That's when you're operating fearlessly in love. And you're going to have a sound mind with it. There's no way that you can say that. I'll put it like this. I know it sounds beautiful to say, But the truth of the matter is, you can't be crazy and in love. There's no such thing as crazy in love. Because crazy means that you have no control over your faculties. It means you have no control over your mental state. It means that you're unhinged. So when you say that you're crazy in love, it's contradictory, because a crazy person will destroy something if they feel that it's no longer relevant. A crazy person will lose all sense of reason and rationale and become destructive. And again, love is life. So if love is life, can you really be crazy and in love? Just like there are people in church who say, oh, I'm a radical for Christ because I love the gospel. You can love the gospel, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be going outside doing crazy stuff. There's a way to tell someone that they're wrong without trying to condemn them. It's almost like a parent and their child. You're spending so much time telling them how they're wrong. And then when they become an adult and now they're out there going crazy, and you're saying, I don't understand. I did all I could. I loved them the best that I could. I raised them the best that I could. You didn't really raise them. You really just condemned them their whole childhood. You didn't give them love, or tough love, as it said. You didn't give them love. You gave them a mind of chaos and confusion. You gave them a mind of destruction. So now when they grow up and now they're out there and they're being reckless and they're being destructive, they're being unruly, they're being chaotic, they're doing all of these things, and you're like, oh, I did the best that I could raising them. Did you? Where was the love? This is why now there are so many people talking about generational traumas and curses and healing their generational lines and going back and trying to correct the wrongs of things that has happened, that has gone from generation to generation in their families, because they're getting therapy, they're getting help, they're dealing with a lot of things, but at the same time, they're starting to realize that some of their elders, some of their parents, some of their loved ones, they didn't really love them. They just controlled them. Having a child does not mean that you have a free... having a child doesn't mean you have a slave. Saying I had you and it's my job to feed you, clothe you. I love you because I give you food. I love you because I give you clothing. I love you because I put a roof over your head. That's your job. That's your obligation. That's your duty. You can do all of that and not have any love in you. When it comes down to relationships, I asked a question. How much money equates to love? How much money equates to love? How much money does a person have to have for them to say that they love you and you believe them? I guarantee you, no matter how much money you say, there is somebody living right now who has 10, 100, 1,000 times whatever amount of money you say. If a person says they love you, then they would have this amount of money in the bank. I guarantee you, I can show somebody that has way more money than that, and there's not an inkling of love in their body for another person. So you can't equate love to substance. You can't equate love to tangible or sometimes intangible factors. Love is so much more than what so many people think and believe that love is, that they actually hold themselves and sell themselves short. of the opportunity of experiencing love in a healthy and productive manner. As I said, 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." And I said the very next verse is going to sum up what that verse means. That is 1 John 4:18. 1 John chapter 4, verse 18. And that verse says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love." That's how powerful love is. Love is so powerful that it can cast out fear. Love is so powerful that in the moment that you might be afraid, when you take into account that person, that situation, that instance, and you see how love, by whether it's word or deed, how it can supersede the whole situation and bring that situation into order. It could bring it into health, healing, wellness. It could bring it into recovery. When you realize that's how powerful love is, it pushes everything aside so you can focus on getting this thing done. So when I tell people that I love them and they're like, "Well, what if you find out in time that I'm not the person you thought that I was, or you find out in time that I'm not capable of loving you back the way that it is?" That's not how love works. Love is not looking for reciprocation. Love is not a you do for me, I do for you. Again, this is why I say that there are a lot of people who use the term love when it comes down to spirituality, when it comes down to, whether they're in church, whether they're in ATR, whatever ATR practice, whether it's whatever, no matter what spiritual practice, when it comes down to family relationships, when it comes down to intimate partner, love relationships, they use the term love. But the question is, are you really loving? Are you really loving? Because if you're not taking time to examine your actions, the whole time you think that you're loving someone, you could be hurting them. You could be bringing them down. You could be holding them in a place of stagnation where they're not growing. That's how love operates. So when it says there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, perfect love doesn't mean that you're firing on all cylinders. Perfect love does not mean that you've never made a mistake. You've never done wrong. You've never hurt their feelings. You've never made the wrong decision. You've never burned the eggs when you were making them for breakfast. That's not what perfect love is. Perfect love is, I love you and I will treat you the way that I desire to be treated myself. I will listen to you, to understand where you are coming from and to comprehend what it is that you're saying to me. Perfect love is, I may not be able to do everything that you desire me to, but I am willing to put in the effort to make as close of the target I can. That's perfect love. Perfect love is not, oh, he went out and got me a 10-carat pink diamond set in white gold, and he took me on a $50 million yacht and proposed to me out in the middle of the... That's not perfect love. That just means money. That's money. Perfect love is not, oh man, she put her time in the gym. I could tell, and she got that nice figure. She got that Coke bottle. I don't even know where her waist is because it's just so snatched. And that's not perfect love. That's lust. Because when the money run out, when the looks change, where are you now? Y'all go ahead and say, oh, I know they love me because look how they dress. Look how we look when we go out together. Look how the attention just falls on us everywhere we go. It's not love. When you equate love to substance, when you equate love to aesthetics, when you equate love to imagery, you're going to fail every time. Every time. Perfect love is, in spite of what happens, I am here with you. Perfect love is, you had a bad day, and instead of me saying, hey, yeah, I know you had a bad day. I know you had a bad day, but I got to go run to the gym right now because the boys, we going to play basketball. So I'm going to highlight you when I get back. No, that's not perfect love. Perfect love is, do you need me here? I'll cancel and stay with you. How can I minister to you in a way to where I can help you to overcome what it is that's happening right now? Even if it is for me to just sit here with you. That's perfect love. It's not afraid of whether you walk away or not. Perfect love is, I'm going to love you to your fullest potential, even if it means at some point we got to part ways. Because that does happen. I wanted this to be something to help people to really understand that even now, with everything that's going on in the government and society and everything else, love so strongly that while hearing everything that's going on around you, love so strongly that you don't lose yourself. Love so powerfully that while others are coming to you talking about how this is falling and this is failing and this is crumbling, love powerful enough that you'll, in preserving yourself, make yourself available for them if they're not strong enough for themselves, because that's love too. That's love too. Some of your closest people, they're faking the funk right now. And when I say they're faking the funk, I mean they're putting on this aura that they're strong. They're putting on this aura that they're making it. They're getting by. They're getting through. They're doing okay. But when they hang up the phone, when they put the phone down from not texting you anymore, when they leave from out of your house, or, y'all part ways from the restaurant or the job or whatever, some people are literally that close to ending it. And I know that sounds heavy, but it's the truth. So the last thing they need is thinking that you being a safe space, they have the ability to come to you and you're not showing them love. I'm not saying for you to lay yourself down as if you are irrelevant. You are very relevant. You are very important to yourself. But you have to understand how love works. You have to understand what love is. Again, love is life. I don't care what anybody tells you, and you can tell them to come to me. I don't care what preacher it is, what pastor it is. I don't care what title anybody has. I don't care if it's your elder in whatever spiritual practice, whatever. If they want to sit here and combat me on what love is, or they want to say love ain't this, love ain't, tell them come talk to me. Because I'm when I say 10 toes down, if I had more toes, I would have those down too. Love is life. And not a lot of people have the love that they say they have. Not a lot of people are exhibiting the love that they say that they have. And there is a dying world out there, and they need somebody to love them enough to see them through what's going on. And all they're getting is pushback and empty rhetoric. So that's why I'm doing this tonight, to help you to see if somebody's not operating in this form, if they're not being genuine with you, if what I'm giving you all tonight is not being exhibited by those who want to sit in your face and tell you they love you, they care about you, you know, they're there for you, da 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 da. If they giving you, as they say up in New York, if they giving you all that yah whoop-de-woo, and you, in hearing everything that I share with you tonight, realize that that person is not doing any of this, that's your indication to get them out of the way. Because spiritually, they might be the ones that's holding some of your blessings back. Because like I said, the opposite, I've told people before, the opposite of love is not hate, it's death. The opposite of love is not hate, it's death. Because even in hate, you love to see somebody fail. I hate you. I love to see you fail. I love to see you fall. I love to see you come up short. So hate is a form of love. But love, the opposite of love is death. Because when you remove love, it's not you hate somebody, it's you don't care if they live or die. When you remove love, there is no reason for acknowledgement of existence. If I don't love you, no, it's I don't hate you, it's you don't exist to me. You are irrelevant to me. So if love is life, then the only thing opposite of love is death. And that's how some people operate. They say they love, but they don't want to see you do better than them. They don't want to see you excel. They don't want to see you get that promotion. They don't want to see you get that house. They don't want to see you get that relationship. If you love me, you would be happy that I actually have a good relationship. You wouldn't be jealous and upset about the fact that I am now with somebody, which means that you will not be getting all of the time that you were getting before. How can you say you love me and you're upset with me that I got a job that now is going to have me working during the hours that we normally would hang out? You don't love me. You don't love me like you say you do. So this tonight is to help us to all look at what love is, how love is expressed, how love is defined, how love is exhibited. And then for us to look at ourselves, how we interact with others, and then those in our lives, how they interact with us. Because again, some of the ones that you believe love you are actually hindering you. Before I go to the next one, I'm going to jump down to the last one. The last, because I wrote down 5 passages. So I'm going to skip the 4th passage to come to the 5th passage. And hey, it was relevant. Romans 13:10. Love works no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. I had a conversation either yesterday or the day before with Psalms and Conjure Shop. She's in here. Beautiful spirit. Definitely take time to check her out. And she has a book. She has a book. Definitely. Go to her bio because she's the last comment in here. Click her name. Go to her bio. Get her book. It's called Get the Funk Out of My House. It helps with spiritual hygiene for yourself and for your home, for your job, for your car, wherever you spend most of your time at, that you have control of the space that you abide in wherever you are. But Romans 13:10, love works no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. We've had this conversation where you're welcome. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I see a lot of people leave the church to go into ATR and other spiritual practices, and they leave out saying all they do is they take your money and then they judge. They take your money and then they have all of these rules and regulations and everything else. And I look at them and I just shake my head, because if you think the church has a lot of rules and regulations and ordinances and things that you're supposed to do and follow and abide by, and you want to join ATR, you think the church is about money? Some of y'all get into these other spiritual practices, and I hope y'all bank account is like up and ready. Yeah, y'all complain about giving 10% out of your paycheck to the church. Some of y'all gonna be spending your whole paycheck for one ceremony, and then supposed to be getting another ceremony in a few months. And sometimes have to travel to have certain ceremonies done. And have to pay for all of the items that are going to be used for your ceremonies. And pay the elders and the ones that are officiating the ceremonies. And pay for the drummers and the singers and performers for the ceremony. And pay for the venue. Like, really, you're complaining about the church wants all your money and all they want to do is just judge you. Have fun with that. Yeah, have fun with that. I explained that churches that operate under the law, and that's constantly talking about the 10 Commandments, constantly talking about thou shalt not kill and all of those things. A lot of those churches, even though they call themselves Christians, they're not Christians. They're operating under the law. And in operating under the law, they're not operating by spirit. They're operating by ordinance. And if you take the time to read in the New Testament, you'll find that operating under the law does not count as righteousness as operating under faith. Because in operating under the law, if you're guilty of one thing, you're guilty of everything. So, for example, the church, and I'm speaking this, but it's the truth. The church likes to harp on alternative lifestyles. I'm using that for safety reasons, because sometimes the algorithm today is going to be different tomorrow, and who knows what word is going to be a trigger word, and next thing you know, account's gone. But the church condemns alternative lifestyle. Okay. But do you lie to the people? Do you tell them the word says something that it doesn't say? Do you tell people that they're to give more than they're supposed to give? is that person that you're married to the only person that you've been married to? Because under the law, if you're guilty of one thing, you're guilty of everything. So you can't spend so much time trying to condemn people based off of whatever is easiest for you to say that you didn't do. Even though sometimes the very things that they want to harp on are the very things that they are guilty of. So it's almost like in them trying to come across the pulpit at others, they're really trying to preach it out of themselves, but that's neither here nor there. We're not going to focus on that. But like I said earlier, Jesus told them, you know the commandments, you know them well. That's great. But in him coming to fulfill the law was summed up into two things. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Out of all of the commandments that were given in the Old Testament, only one of them mentions love. After that, it was thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. And he said that when you come into this dispensation of time, it's very simple. Love the Lord thy God, love your neighbor. And I'll make it even easier for you. When I go up, I'm going to send my spirit down. If you have my spirit, you're able to live this life. Here's the secret to all of this. When you have love, you're spending so much time treating others the way that you want to be treated. You don't have time to consider how everyone else is living. And another secret is, when you have love and you're operating in love and you truly have a sincere heart, not only are you focused on treating others the way that you want to be treated, but those who are not to be in your circle, those who are going to take advantage of you, those who might use you, those who might be around you and don't mean you well, they're either going to be removed from you, or in them doing whatever they do, they're going to pay for that in a mighty way. There's a verse that is said in churches that I think some people, in their excitement, they don't understand what it is they're saying. That old, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. It didn't say it wouldn't hit. It didn't say nothing will happen. It said it will not prosper. So, you might take a stumble. You might take a fall. It might hurt a little bit, but it's not going to be prosperous in your downfall. You might have a hiccup, but you're not going to be stopped. But when you have love, love can help you bypass a lot of things. A lot of things. So we're going to go back to the fourth passage that I have written down. And I'm going to save this. And when I post it, I will put the 5 passages of scriptures so that if you need to come back, you can come back and you can read it for yourself. You can get them and you can, take your time with them. This passage is going to be 2 verses from 2 different chapters. And then I'm going to close out. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12 says, hatred stirs up strifes, but love covers all sins. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. Now, when it says love covers all sins, it's not saying that it's condoning it. It's not saying, hey, you did this wrong and I like that. That's good. No. Love, When it says love covers all sins, it means love looks past the sin. It looks past the fault. It looks past the wrong to the heart of the person to see how they can minister to that person, how they can help that person, how they can lift that person up. That's what that means. And I will say churches have a major fault with that because they call themselves preaching against sin, but a lot of times what they're doing is just condemning. They're condemning the soul without giving the soul any form of resolution on how to save. And so now when people walk away feeling as though all they heard was they're not going to make it, they're not going to make it, they're not going to make it, what's the point of me being here if all you're doing is telling me I'm not going to make it? On the flip side, like I said, love covers all sins. It does not mean that you condone it. It doesn't mean that you're letting people just live any type of life and not telling them, hey, you need to course correct. There's a difference between course correcting and control. Everybody is on their own spiritual journey. So what it is for you may not be what it is for me. I can't tell you how to live your life. I can tell you what you can do to better improve your life, but I can't tell you. I mean, I can tell you, but that doesn't mean you have to listen to me. I can't control you. All I can do is just advise you. And if I love you, I'm going to advise you. I'm not going to condemn you. I'm just going to advise you. You know, this ain't good. What you're doing is not good. You might need to tighten up. But I'm not going to come at you wailing on you and expecting you to change. Ooh, that's interesting. I just came across this one verse. I just looked down and I saw this one verse because I was looking at the notebook to try and see what the last passage is. And it's Proverbs 8:36. But he that sinneth against me wrongs his own soul. This is God talking about the soul of man. He that sinneth against me wrongs his own soul. All they that hate me love death. I told you, the opposite of love is not hate, it's death. The opposite of love is death, because love is life. So the last verse, only a couple pages over. And if you have a question, please say something. Ask a question. I know I went this far, but like I said, I was trying to make it where I wasn't going to be on here long. And in the process of it, my mind was just like, let's hurry up and get this done so everybody can get back to whatever it is they're doing. And yeah, but if you have a question, type it in the comments. But the last verse is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 17. And it says, better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox, or fatted calf, that's what it means, than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. Like I said earlier, love is not and should not be equated with money, with finances, with tangible things. Love shouldn't be equated according to how much they can spend or how much they can buy or, how much you can get. You trying to buy someone's love you're not buying their love. You're not buying their love. You're buying their attention. You're buying their you're buying their display of affection. Because you're not even buying their affection, you're buying their display. So it's almost like a business transaction. But better is a dinner of herbs where love is. It's better to, it's better to share a meal, no matter how small it is, with someone who actually loves you and cares for you, than to have a great feast and sit at a table where there are a bunch of hating eyes, lying tongues. Me, I'm one where I'm so simple. If if we're together and all we got is enough to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, if there's love there, I'm good. I'm not saying I'm settling. I'm saying I'm good. If you're my friend and I come by and all you have is some rice and beans, listen, you got some seasonings, we gonna put this thing together. Matter of fact, let me go run to the store real quick. If I got something to go ahead and put towards it, that's fine. But I'd rather have a simple meal at a table with someone who loves me and cares for me and means me well and knows that I mean them well, than sit at a table where there's jealousy, there's envy, there's bitterness, there's strife. But hey, we got this banging spread. Yeah, for real. I know what you meant when you said that. Yeah, them beans be good too. Yeah. Matter of fact, Creole Story Pot, she has a podcast coming out soon. I know she's gonna be sharing some recipes, so you definitely could take a look at her, see what she got going on, because she definitely makes them pots sing. Absolutely. But yeah, it's better to have, and there are other verses throughout that say, similar to that. It's better to be somewhere where, even though there's little, there's love, than to be somewhere where there's great riches, but there's no love. Because love is going to help you to figure it out. Love is going to help you to see it through. Love is going to say, this is your skill set, this is my skill set. How can we put it together? Love is, I know you've had this happen to you in past relationships, and I know that that's not me, and I'm willing to take time to be with you and show you that I'm with you, not against you. That's what love is. Love is about showing, no matter who it is, love is about showing that you're with them, not against them, that you're for them and not trying to tear them down. So, yeah, love is patient. Just like it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, love is patient, love is kind. All of that. Those things matter. So, that's it for tonight, everybody. Like I said, I was going to try my best to not keep you all long. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and shoot them. If not, we can go ahead and call it a night. Like I said, I have my online ministry that I'm starting. Black Diasporic Spiritual Cultural Center, BDSCC. That's on the GroupMe app. If you go into my bio, into the link tree, you'll see the link in the bio, in the link tree to join. There is a question for you to answer before you come in. And on the 15th, next Tuesday, I will be doing my inaugural Zoom session for the ministry. The link is also posted in the bio. I believe it's posted in the bio. And if you're in the Georgia area, June 27th, I will be at Simbi's Conjure Shop in Forest Park, Georgia, for my book, From Trauma to Triumph, Healing Him in This Present World. It's a book that I wrote last year. I wrote it as a book for men on their emotional healing and spiritual journey to work on themselves. There's a need for us as men to really take inventory of how we were raised, how we are raising, how we grew up in the communities that we grew up in, and how we are shaping the communities that we are currently in. So if you would like to purchase a copy, the link is in the bio. You can get it on Amazon or on lulu.com. That's LULU.com. Just type in From Trauma to Triumph, Healing Him in This Present World, and get your copy. I promise you it's a great read. I'm not saying it because it's me. I'm saying it because those who have bought the book, a lot of them women, they have passed it on to their men, or they have read the book themselves, and they have said that it actually makes them do some self-reflection. Starting with the first chapter, who am I? Not what am I? That's something that a lot of men deal with, where instead of knowing who they are, they know the roles that they have. They know what hats they're supposed to wear in their communities. They know what positions they're supposed to play, but who are you? So you can get your copy. Get your copy. Get it for, whoever the man is in your life that you feel needs it. Or if you as a woman want to get it for yourself to read, then have at it. I guarantee you it's going to be good. And you can reach out to me if you have any questions. So as there are no questions here, I thank everyone who has come out and logged in to watch me on tonight. And as I always say, love and blessings to you all.